Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am a goose that does reviews. And last week, I watched Nope for our first entry as a 2022 film directed by Jordan Peele, his third movie, which I did not care too much for us whenever that came out. Maybe on a rewatch, I'll feel a little differently, but I just don't really remember too much of that movie outside of like the twist and Tim Heidecker. Um, and of course, I saw Get Out, and that's probably still his best movie, in my opinion. I still really like that movie. I've seen that a couple of times, and I think it still holds up after rewatches. So, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about Nope. It is a sci-fi horror movie where Daniel Kaluuya plays a Hollywood horse trainer and inherits his father's farm after his dad sort of mysteriously dies from a nickel that supposedly fell out of a plane. Things start to get a lot weirder after he starts doing business with a wealthy kid star played by Steven Yeun, who is desperate to try and give people an experience they have not witnessed before. So there are a lot of themes in this movie that I think are really interesting. A lot of themes with media and monetization. There's also a lot of animal themes, sort of trying to respect animals' boundaries or not respecting animals and getting punished for it, not taking proper precautions. And we see that early on in the film whenever Daniel Kaluuya's character is on set and he tells people what to do and what not to do around the horse, and eventually they do not listen and a horse ends up nearly kicking someone and they end up firing them because of that. Still a really, really great film. I really enjoyed it, even though it's not my favorite out of Jordan Peele's. It also has some really good sound design, especially with what we're dealing with in the movie. And it's got a very subtle score, but I think the score is still really effective. There is one particular shot that kind of sticks with you, and it's really an amazing shot, but I don't want to, go too much into the movie and what it's kind of hiding beyond the clouds, just to give you a bit of foreshadowing. But yeah, there's not much more I want to say about the film. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The second film I saw last week was Empire Strikes Back, directed by George Lucas, coming out in 1980, continuing on the trilogy. After the destruction of the Death Star, the Empire is still a mighty force and still trying to snuff out the rebel forces. And at a certain point in the film, they actually get overwhelmed, and Han and Leia are forced to leave on the Millennium Falcon, but not without taking an immense amount of damage. Luke also escapes in his own X-Wing after getting a mysterious message from Obi-Wan telling him to meet a Jedi Master of the name Yoda on the planet Dagobah. And this is a really good continuation of the trilogy. I had a really good time with it. I still think I liked the first one a decent amount more because I really liked, ignoring the CGI, I really enjoyed the world building that they came up with and seeing all the different alien designs. Still a really great movie, but for like the entirety of the movie, it's just Leia and Han, or at least the entire B plot is just Leia and Han trying to fix the Millennium Falcon as they run away from the Empire. And I think it's kind of funny in that sense. But it has some themes of sort of controlling your anger and patience and the consequences when you don't have patience. But still a really solid film. Still beautiful, absolutely gorgeous with the miniatures and sort of not so miniature with the Star Destroyer being 5 times as big as the other similar looking models. Really great stop motion work. I really love. I have definitely learned to appreciate stop motion a lot more, especially after seeing Tetsuo Iron Man and some other I can't remember his name, but the something Elliott, the Marion Max and Memoir of a Snail Guy, and of course Wes Anderson as well. And of course, really gorgeous score. Can't really go wrong with John Williams, he's always pumping out bangers. All in all, really great experience. I still think I liked the first one more. And I guess I was kind of had pretty high expectations because Empire Strikes Back is supposed to be the one that is like everyone's favorite. And I guess I just didn't really see it as much. Maybe on like a rewatch of the trilogy, I might feel differently. But I think I'm just going to stick to a 4 out of 5 for now. It's close to a 4.5, but I think just with how much I liked the first one and kind of my expectations, I think a 4 is good. And the last film I saw last week was the newest Pixar movie, Hoppers. This one was directed by Daniel Chong. Obviously, it came out in 2026. He is the same director, I guess, as We Bare Bears. It's a show on, I think, Cartoon Network. It was on after I stopped watching cartoons, really, so I never really got the chance to see it. But people are really raving over this movie. It's got some really good reviews. I think it's standing at like close to a 4 on Letterboxd. This is about a kid who really loves animals and grows a relationship with her grandma after she shows her the calming wonders of nature. After her grandma dies, the city mayor is threatening to destroy the pond that her grandma loved so very much in order to build a highway. After struggling to find a way to try and stop the highway being built, she comes across a group of science professors who are trying to perfect some robotic animals. But I wasn't really a big fan of this movie. I just didn't really connect with me that much. I thought there would have been a little bit more, but it seems like Pixar is still playing things very safe, especially after, I guess, their last flop with Elio. Not that I've seen too many recent Pixar movies. I am much more familiar with the older ones like Up and WALL-E, which honestly I would much rather see over this movie. Same with Avatar. A lot of people were comparing it to Avatar, and I'm like, yeah, I'd probably rather watch Avatar. But really, outside of the fur animations, I just kind of feel like it's a very safe movie. I mean, they just kind of made animals in Pixar. That's not really anything new or fresh. Pretty generic themes when it comes to the whole like save nature business. Like, it's just not something that interested me that much. I didn't think it was that funny. There was probably one joke that I chuckled at a little bit and no one else found it funny, so that was great to feel. But yeah, there's not really much I could say about this movie. Something that was really weird is that like throughout the movie you're supposed to see this character grow, but the entire time she just looks like a 14-year-old girl. Like, she's supposed to be in college and at one point graduated college. She's supposed to be like, 21, 22 years old, and she still looks like a child. And I'm like, it's a bit of a nitpick, but like, it was just really weird. Like, I don't know why they chose to do that. I don't know why they didn't just choose to make her a child. It was very strange. But yeah, it didn't really work for me. I'm going to have to give this one a 2 out of 5. And that wraps up last week's movies. This is going to be the last week of sort of personal picks. For the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be covering the Best Picture Oscar nominations. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for the Oscars, even though there were a few snubs that I'm not too happy about. There's only 4 movies that I haven't seen from the Best Picture nominations. That's going to be Secret Agent, F1, Hamnet, and Train Dreams. But still really excited to talk about them. I will probably still be rewatching some of the ones that I've already seen, though, just to give my thoughts and opinions to settle more and refine them a little bit more. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the late upload. Just was having a really lazy day yesterday. But I will see you all next week.